So this is my 1934 D.P Harris, branded by Zenith / the Marshall's Warehouse hardware store. So there's the Zenith Marshall Wells hardware store badge, and you can tell it's a D.P Harris because the chain ring, which is skip tooth, is also it has H's in them. So it's a Harris, D.P Harris. There you go, Harris chain ring. And that's original to the bike. It's a dog leg. It's a 30s dog leg, and dog legs just have the big kick out skip tooth chain crank arms and chain rings. It's got that's like a universal bolt-on rat trap rear rack, book rack. Put your books in there. And custom long saddle spring seat. So this was made off of the chassis of this spring assembly. So underneath here is literally just a piece of plywood with this on top of it. Lucky 7 layback seat post. This is kind of a rat rod because the fenders are 1950s fenders that I bobbed. So I bobbed the front of this to make it look like a 30s fender set. And the reason why I use them is because they were deep enough. These are also big fat 26-inch fat tire tubes and tires. So I bobbed them and made them look 50s. I added in this the drop stand. It's called a drop stand instead of a kickstand because it drops down and it sits the whole bike on the back of it. So this has got a drop stand clip that I put in the back there. That's like a 50s or 60s raspberry reflector. The drop stand is not an original drop stand. It's a custom made thing it was actually on the bike when I found it. This was completely handmade by the last owner. Old guy literally ripped this bike out of a rat's hoarder's nest. Horrible. There's dozens and dozens of bikes and vintage cars and, you know, vintage signage and all sorts of, like, literally think of the stuff that the American pickers would go through. That's where I found this, and it was a rat's nest. Honestly, it would probably be condemned if somebody ever inspected the property. It's got a 60s or 70s Schwinn gooseneck stem. These are probably 50s wide, you know, big old cruiser bars. The struts are original. All this is original. The paint job, the old guy that I got it from did, so that's his paint job. It's literally a paintbrush paint job. Yeah, it's like house paint or something like that. It's got newer cream tires. These are repop tires that you can buy. It's got original 3-step pre-war rims. So, you know, these are 1, 2, and 3. So they're pretty cool. Those are a pain to mount modern tires on. Yeah, the hubs are original. I painstakingly, you can see in here, there's a whole bunch of these spokes and nipples that don't really look like they match the rim, and that's because I painstakingly had to rebuild these rims. Slowly but surely I relaced them so that they would actually work, because you can see like an original spoke right there versus like a new spoke right there. Original spoke, new spoke. So I had to relace these. The rear is actually a really famous company. This is a Morrow rear hub. So Morrow was an airplane manufacturer in the 30s. So I find that right there, Morrow. So Morrow also made bicycle hubs, and they're known for being exceedingly smooth riding hubs, like really, really nice machined hubs. And but they kind of suck on the braking impulse because these are obviously coaster brakes or like friction brakes. So you push back on the chain and you cause friction back here in mechanical action, which pushes little brake shoes on the inside of the hubs. But they suck at braking, but they ride so smooth. It's ridiculous how smooth they are. These are like 1960s men's pedals that I had that just kind of matched the tires. I like that they matched the tires. So those were what I had at the time when I redid this bike, which was years ago at this point. These are Repop, what they called pepper and salt shaker grips. So company remade these old style grips, and it's because they look like a pepper and salt shaker, right? But yeah, pretty cool. So it's a Zenith, a D.P Harris, rebranded for the Zenith / Marshall Wales hardware stores in the 1930s. So pretty fun old bike. Definitely a rat rod, definitely not original, but put back to a nice configuration to ride around on. It's not been like borked with too bad. I obviously like sourced like all the things I was missing, like the chain tensioners, you know, trying to find as much original stuff as I could that could probably be feasible to be put back on something this old. It's a 30s straight bar, so honestly, if this was brand new, it probably didn't have fenders, didn't have a rack, didn't have anything. It probably had a drop stand, maybe not even. I mean, these older skip tooth bikes were pretty bare bones in terms of how they were equipped. Especially the cheaper ones. Obviously, you got more expensive, you got things like tanks and fenders and lights and whatever else. And the cheaper you got less. You got no fenders, no tanks. So that's kind of how the models of these worked. But anyway, that's what she looks like, and that's another one of my old tankers, old balloon girls, balloon tires. So figured I'd just share a little bit about this one.